Well, right now, aviation authorities are trying to solve the mystery of why a private plane crashed after flying in restricted space in the nation's capital. Also, conflicting reports on escalating fighting in Ukraine in what could be the Ukraine's attempt to take back territory seized by Russia last year. This is News 3 Now at noon. Good afternoon. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in on this Monday. Workers who've been on the strike for more than 2 weeks at True Stage, formerly known as CUNA, ended their strike this morning, but the possibility of another work stoppage still remains as negotiations between the union and company continue. Representatives from the union representing the striking workers said hundreds of their members met Friday and decided to suspend the strike because of a tentative agreement on priority issues workers have called for, including job security and remote work. However, union reps said members also voted to authorize another work stoppage within the next 30 days if negotiations fall through. Let's head to the Weather Center now. Meteorologist Greg Barnhart has a look at what's inside or what's happening this week.
Well, the good news is the
rain.
90s. Yeah, well, the 90s are gone. That's the good news. Unfortunately, not a lot of rain. We still got the smoke out there from wildfires in Quebec for unhealthy, sensitive groups, for unhealthy category, or it could be for all. For until midnight tonight, we'll start seeing that improve. Otherwise, cloud cover, you can start seeing everything pushed to the southwest, to that northeast winds beginning to pick up. That's a change in the pattern here. We'll have a few showers later, but overall, really just some cloud cover and some haze out there is what we deal with. Temperatures right now are cooler than yesterday, upper 70s near 80 for most locations. But if we look further to the north, give you an idea that we have 60s and 70s to upper Michigan, which is kind of the air mass that's beginning to push our way, eventually starting tomorrow. Overall precipitation, not much going on up to Minneapolis and further north, so not much to be expected. Over the last 5 days, we haven't seen much. Very spotty in nature, unless you're just east of Janesville with that one downpour they had earlier last week, so we still could use it. But once again, we're not going to see much in the way of it. For today, for this evening, just hazy skies, increasing clouds once again later this evening, but no precipitation expected. Temperatures mid to low 80s, and then we'll cool off later tonight. So up ahead, we'll kind of time out those rain chances tonight and maybe tomorrow, and to give you an idea if the heat returns or we stick with the upper 70s, low 80s for the time being. All
right, we'll check back, Greg. Thank you. NTSB investigators have arrived at the site of a small plane crash in Virginia. The crash killed 4 people, including a young child. U.S. officials say before crashing, the small plane had flown into restricted airspace in the nation's capital. As Natalie Brand reports from Washington, what caused the crash remains unclear.
The sonic boom rattled the metro D.C. area Sunday, including northern Virginia and southern Maryland. People in neighborhoods across the region reported clearly hearing it. It turned out to be F-16 fighter jets headed to intercept a small plane that entered restricted airspace over the nation's capital. The FAA says it was a Cessna Model 560 headed from Tennessee to Long Island, New York. For some reason, the plane reversed course and ended up flying through airspace over the D.C. area. Defense officials say the pilot did not respond to repeated attempts to contact the aircraft. The FAA says the plane crashed in a remote wooded area in western Virginia. No survivors were found.
This has the signatures of some sort of incapacitation.
CBS aviation safety analyst Robert Sumwalt used to chair the National Transportation Safety Board. He offered one possible cause of the crash.
The airplane does not pressurize properly. The pilots become hypoxic, meaning, of course, lack of oxygen. They fall asleep, as do the passengers. Because of lack of oxygen, they perish. Meanwhile, the airplane continues.
As federal officials investigate the crash, Florida businessman John Rumpel told the New York Times his daughter, 2-year-old granddaughter, and her nanny were on the plane, along with the pilot. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Well, former Vice President Mike Pence filed paperwork this morning declaring his campaign for president in 2024, setting up a challenge to his former boss, Donald Trump. Pence, the nation's 48th vice president, will formally launch his bid for the Republican nomination with a video and kickoff event in Des Moines, Iowa on Wednesday. Russia's defense minister says their forces have thwarted a major Ukrainian offensive in southern Ukraine, and it's killed hundreds of Ukrainian troops. Kyiv authorities suggested the claims that major battles are underway were a Russian misinformation ruse. It was unclear whether the reported attack represented the start of a long-expected Ukrainian counteroffensive to recapture some of the territory taken by Russian forces after it sent tens of thousands of troops into Ukraine in February of 2022. The United States military has released video of what it called an unsafe Chinese maneuver in the Taiwan Strait over the weekend. They say a Chinese Navy ship cut sharply across the path of an American destroyer, forcing the U.S. vessel to slow to avoid a collision. Dane County Regional Airport is celebrating the official opening of the new South Terminal expansion this morning. And as the high travel season heats up, airline passengers may encounter new technology at the security line in more than a dozen airports across the country. It's a digital identification program that uses facial recognition camera systems to compare a flyer's face to the picture on their ID in seconds.
How does that speed things up?
Well, facial recognition, first and foremost, is much more accurate. And we've tested this extensively. It brings the accuracy level close to 100% from like mid 80% with just a human looking at a facial match.
While privacy advocates worry about the lack of regulations around facial recognition, the program has been rolled out to more than 24 airports nationwide since 2020, but is currently voluntary for flyers. Well, there's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. We'll find out who's on the latest coin in the American Women Quarters series. That's in the Money Watch when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon.
Fry Construction is celebrating 28 years with a big anniversary sale. Join us to save 28%. That's right, 28%. Many of your neighbors already know how we strive to meet and exceed expectations with each and every project. That's why they voted us Best Roofer 3 years in a row. Experience the best of Madison for yourself with Fry Construction. Act now for 28% off gutters or insulation with any full roofing project. Schedule your free consultation today at fryconstruction.com.
As a veteran of our country's armed services, you have already made the ultimate sacrifice. Why should you have to continue to do that? Through no fault of your own, you may be experiencing hardships, such as the inability to pay rent, utilities, or receive other life-sustaining services. And once again, you're called upon by your family to serve and protect. We want you to know we are here to support you. The Veterans Rental Assistance Program was created by and for people living in Wisconsin, with benefit approvals being issued to veterans in just days, not months. It's not easy to ask for a hand up, but we are clear in our mission. No Wisconsin veteran should ever have to face homelessness or lose heat, power, or water again. 833-WISC-VRAP. That's 833-947-8727.
Imagine this. It's 1968 and the mayor of Milwaukee says nope to Summerfest. How many bands would you have never seen? And how many lakeside selfies just wouldn't exist? You'd never have met your new best friend while singing along to every song. Or know the feeling of hitting all 12 stages before the headliner. Thankfully, 55 years ago, Summerfest was a yes. And every year since has been one to remember. Don't miss Milwaukee Summerfest, presented by American Family Insurance.
It's Steinhaffel's Memorial Day sale. And right now, save up to $500 on adjustable base sets. Plus, get $300 in Steinhaffel's cash. Tempur-Pedic Queen mattresses start at just $42 per month when you use Steinhaffel's 72-month financing. Tempur-Pedic mattresses are designed to make aches and pains a thing of the past by relieving pressure points and supporting the body as no other mattress can. Shop in-store or online at steinhaffels.com.
Trucking accidents can be devastating and complex. Too many victims settle without understanding their rights. If you're injured in a trucking accident, you need an award-winning law team like GTW to investigate and advocate for your rights. All in to win. Gingras, Thompson, and Walks.
As worries grow about the future of work and artificial intelligence, a new study finds AI contributed to nearly 4,000 job losses last month. That's according to data from executive coaching company Challenger, Gray & Christmas. Ever since OpenAI launched ChatGPT last fall, companies have wasted no time implementing AI for administration and clerical tasks. This comes as hundreds of experts last week signed a letter saying artificial intelligence poses a risk of extinction to humanity on the scale of nuclear war and pandemics. Now to the movies. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse pulled in an impressive $120 million in its opening weekend domestically. That's the best start ever for a Sony animation picture. The second animated feature film following the adventures of Miles Morales in the spider suit also earned more than $208 million at the global box office. And today, the U.S. Mint is expected to ship out its latest coin in the American Women Quarters series. It features former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt and her legacy not only in the White House with her husband, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, but also her role as the first chairperson of the then United Nations Commission on Human Rights. That was later replaced by the UN Human Rights Council. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Matt Piper.
Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials down almost 39 points. The NASDAQ up 75. The S&P 500 up 12. Our call for action volunteers are in the building, taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. Volunteers are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can call for action right now at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call-for-action. Pam has today's egg prices along with Greg's midweek forecast. And then today on Live at 4, we'll meet the author of the book, 100 Things to Do in Wisconsin Before You Die. It's coming up at 4.
FlexSteel is furniture that comforts, furniture for living, furniture with a heart of steel. Save big during our FlexSteel authorized sale going on now at Waunakee Furniture ETC.
Announcing Madison Magazine's Best of Madison Readers Poll for 2023. Vote online today for the Del Bar for Best Supper Club, Best Steakhouse, Best Destination Restaurant, and Best Upscale Dining. Vote for the Del Bar today on MadisonMagazine.com.
Do you suffer with pain, numbness, and tingling in the hands or feet, commonly diagnosed as peripheral neuropathy? Are you taking drugs such as Lyrica or gabapentin that have serious side effects and often do not relieve your symptoms? Your doctor has told you you may just have to live with the pain. Peripheral neuropathy is a result of damage to the nerves, often causing burning, weakness, pain, numbness, tingling, and the most debilitating balance problems. Our facility uses multiple therapeutic methods to help give you relief from neuropathy symptoms with no injections and no drugs. You may start seeing relief after only a few sessions. To determine if your neuropathy symptoms can be relieved, we will do a consultation to evaluate the extent of your condition. Call us today to schedule your neuropathy consultation to find out if you're a candidate for our therapy. Call today.
FlexSteel is furniture that comforts, furniture for living, furniture with a heart of steel. Save big during our FlexSteel authorized sale going on now at Waunakee Furniture ETC.
Ooh, is it hot in here or is it just Tay Diggs? Do you consider yourself an actor, a singer?
Well, first handsome.
Plus, I'm taking on a 13-year-old track star.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3.
We're following the sounds of music to a free summer concert series in the 608.
Tomorrow, Josh gives you a sneak peek at the lineup for Janesville's Music at the Mar.
And we'll see if we have any rain chances to alleviate our drought conditions. Join us tomorrow between 4:30 and 7.
The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Let's check in with Pam Yankee from the Midwest Farm Report on this Monday. Hope you had a good weekend.
Did have a good weekend, yes, indeed. Not enough rain for my most of my audience, but that's all we're talking about, honestly, is the weather. It was part of the conversation on Saturday. If you were down on the Capitol Square, you saw not only the farmers market, but also Cows on the Concourse. Sydney Flick was one of the exhibit coordinators for Cows on the Concourse, where they brought some of the dairy cows from the UW-Madison dairy herd, as well as calves up to the Capitol Square so people could actually get up close by the animals, touch them, and visit with the farmers that take care of them. Sydney Flex said they were expecting probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 20,000 people to come through the display. And believe it or not, even in Wisconsin, they were estimating 25% of the people that were at Cows on the Concourse had never gotten close to a cow in their lives, let alone touch them. So there was a lot of exchange of information. Really, that's what June Dairy Month is all about. Our Wisconsin strawberry growers are monitoring this weather very closely. You know, I talked about 2 weeks ago about an insect they had to keep an eye out for, thrips. Well, now they're waiting to see when the rain is going to show up. A lot of our Wisconsin strawberry growers do not have irrigation, so they really rely on Mother Nature to make sure that they're getting the moisture they need to plump up those berries. Julie Schoenberg, who's up in Poynette, said they had a scare earlier this year with the cool, wet weather and now trying to wait out the rainfall that they need. You'll want to follow along and see when strawberry patches are starting to open in your area. Go to wiberriesandveggies.com, wiberriesandveggies.com. And, of course, I'll keep an eye on that calendar as well. Today in Chicago, kind of a mixed bag as far as our dairy was concerned. Barrel cheese is up 3 3/4 cents to $1.55. 40-pound block cheese stands unchanged. Double A butter on a Monday, down 4 1/4 cents to $2.40 1/4 per pound. So, yeah, well, everybody's talking about the same thing, Mark. You know, if it's not the smoke in the air that we're noticing, it is definitely the cracks in the ground that are becoming very amplified.
Absolutely. Sydney was out here for Live at 4 on Friday, and she brought a one-day-old calf. And
there you go.
The newsroom emptied out. Everyone to go see that calf.
That's that they do attract the attention, that's for sure.
All right. See you later, Pam.
Yep.
A dry, well, mostly dry week in Greg's forecast.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to get some precipitation, but it's not going to be widespread enough to really put a dent in the abnormal dry conditions. So really, later tonight and tomorrow, we have a few showers or storms. I think the better shot is to go further west of the area towards eastern Iowa, Minnesota. Dry then through Friday, and then maybe another chance coming this weekend. Once again, it's hit and miss stuff, most of this, which is typical for summertime precipitation. Today, warm, but we're definitely going to get cooler, back to where we should be, upper 70s, near 80. The humidity is going to drop off once again this week. It may bump up a little bit by the weekend, but still very dry conditions. Overall, today we're just going to see that smoke and that haze, but really the cloud cover and the showers won't really start pushing into the area till later. Up to the north, you may see a few showers or thunderstorms come this evening. More cloud cover towards Dane County and southward, but I think overnight towards midnight, eventually this front gets further south. We get enough moisture to lift, so we do get a few hit and miss shower and thunderstorm probably through after midnight, and then as you wake up tomorrow morning, as we're in the 60s, I think that's a better shot where we'll see more widespread precipitation than over across the area. Once again, hit and miss, a few thunderstorms, but I think most of this will just be showers. And then in the morning hour to the afternoon, it gets more concentrated towards southwest Wisconsin over to Iowa as the front kind of sags further south. So that may be an opportunity more for a little bit more widespread. Otherwise, most of the area by the afternoon hours probably should then begin to just be cloudy skies with more shower activity there. You'll see that northeast wind, so definitely tomorrow afternoon, only upper 70. As we go into tomorrow night into Wednesday, cloud cover will kind of increase. Got maybe another weak little front that'll kind of dig southwestward across the area, provide more cloud cover, maybe a sprinkle or two, but I don't think that'll be much at all. Then as we go into the Wednesday morning, we'll get back down in the 50s, and the good news is it won't be as cool. Once again, upper 70s for your Wednesday. Smoke-wise, we should have one more day of this. It is starting to thin out, along with some of the precipitation, the change in wind direction. I think we'll start to see that thin out a little bit after tonight. Once again, I don't think it'll be totally cleared out by tomorrow, but overall won't be as much. You'll probably still see a haze in there. But notice to the north, there's not much more being evected into our area after tomorrow, so we'll see better clear skies. Overall precipitation for this rest of the week, it gets shoved to the west or to the south, and then as we get closer to Friday, we start to pull some of that moisture back up into the area, and then as you get closer to the end of the weekend, once again it gets pushed south. So it's an opportunity once again, but not a real great widespread precipitation event that we really could use. Temperatures though, even with that warm community air that gets this weekend, we should be still fairly close to average temperature, and you can see on the 7 to 10 day forecast, we'll have upper 70s. Average is about 76, 77 for this time of year. Dry conditions getting into the 40s overnight, and then that opportunity comes late Friday night through Saturday. Once again, not a widespread rainfall event, but some hit and miss shower and thunderstorm, a bump in the temperatures, and then we go back down. It looks like maybe by the middle of June, we might see a change in the weather pattern coming, more humid, or at least more precipitation. At least that's the first indication right now.